Hi House Beautiful, I'm Annika Reed. Come in. We moved to Frome, Somerset 3 years ago from London, and when we left London we lived in a really amazing Georgian flat with high ceilings, and so high ceilings was something that was a non-negotiable, and we just loved the period features of this house and it really sold it to us. The house needed quite a lot of work doing to it and it was a bit of a project, but that's what we were looking for, because whenever we move into a house we always put our own colour and pattern into it. We just love incorporating all the pieces we've collected over the years and from our families, and just matching everything together and really making it our own. The kitchen, we spent a little time working out what to do, so it was one of the last rooms of the house to actually get renovated, because what we were struggling with was the configuration of the kitchen. It had some walls here with the units, the kitchen units behind here, which meant whoever was cooking was disjointed from everybody else in the dining room. And so we opened it up to make one large space. The starting point for the kitchen design was actually the ceiling. I love the colours of Morocco and India, and I fell in love with Parasol by Paint and Paper Library, and then the green complements it perfectly. So the kitchen is actually joined to the dining room, and what draws me to this space is just the fireplace at this end, which mirrors the fireplace in the kitchen. And it's quite a large space, so we wanted to make a gallery wall. This one here is from a refugee camp in Kenya, Kakuma, which my boss did a lot of amazing work for. I've also got my daughter's first ever picture that we did together that I framed, and then this is one of my prints, and then this is a really good friend of mine's artworks. So everything in here is quite personal. My dad was an upholsterer, so furniture's always been a big part of my growing up, and my mum and dad gave us these chairs when they downsized. And this sofa has got quite a lot of sentimental value. It was always the sofa in our family home, and it was the last job that my dad reupholstered before he got too poorly, so it holds a lot of sentimental value. And I love how the children or I can be lounging on here while other people are doing different things in this room. It's a real heart of the home, and now with the 2 children we can all be in the same space, often doing crafts at the table while the other person's in the kitchen. So this is the living room, and I fell in love with this colour, which is called Dutch Orange by Edward Bulmer, and I just have to have it, and I think it is one of my most favourite colours for interiors. I love how warm it is in the winter and lively and uplifting in the summer. I never initially thought of orange as a colour for my interiors, but now I think this colour will go with me in every home because I just love how it makes me feel. Ever since I was a child, I've always been dragged along to antique markets and fairs and flea markets and car boot sales with my parents, and that has instilled with me for the rest of my life, and I love nothing more than going on holiday and finding a trinket or an object. When you look at that object, it just brings back all the memories of that place, and I just can't help but collecting things. And I seem to have a slight obsession now with Staffordshire dogs, as you can see throughout the home. They feature quite heavily, and they've also now become one of my best-selling wallpapers. I just love their loyalty and their companionship that they have in each room. And over here I've also got more inspiration for my wallpaper. So we've got the top Staffordshire blacks of the man on the horse, which was the inspiration that I saw in lockdown for the red coats, which is in my son's bedroom. We've got the tiger here, which I found found by Mitzi, which is a local antiques dealer, and I just love them. I travelled in India and I was much younger, so I didn't collect as much as I should have, and they just remind me of my travels, and I absolutely love them. They're the inspiration behind the Tibetan tiger. I also found these illustrations and tapestries of Greek urns, and I absolutely love them, and they were the inspiration behind my Muggle of Jugs wallpaper. This light is from houseof.com, and I absolutely fell in love with it when I saw it, and I just love how it brings the elegance of a chandelier but with a real modern twist. So this piece came with us from London, and we found it at Eltham Palace Deco Fair. It doesn't quite go in with the feel of this house, however, I just love how it still works because there's a mixture of all periods, and it's just such a fun piece when we have parties. It turns into the most fabulous cocktail bar. So this is my son's room. When we first moved in, we actually redecorated this to be a guest room. And I love how this wallpaper has evolved from being in a guest room, but we haven't had to redecorate when he was arrival because it is timeless. The colours remind me of a medieval tapestry, and so we've got the sort of the pinks that are picked up from the wallpaper that I've colour drenched on the radiators in the fireplace, and that's also echoed in my daughter's room and in the main bedroom. I love colour drenching and having the wallpaper and the features as one. So in my daughter's room, she was obsessed with horses from a really young age, and so I thought I'd design her a real mythical, beautiful wallpaper, and saw the Pegasus as the perfect motif, and decorated her room in that, and then when it was up, she wanted a unicorn. And what I really love about this house is how the wallpapers in each room talk to each other from the other room, and I just think that they are so fun and playful and add that little bit of magic. I decorate each of the children's rooms quite personally, so the middle name of my son is Moon, and I have a design inspired by him coming out soon. But also around this room I've got some local artists. Here a printmaker locally in Frome has done this amazing phases of the moon, and also I have a felt moon over here that I was given that's made by a local artist. And for my daughter's room, what I've done is I've miniaturised all my wallpapers and made her a doll's house with all my patterns, and she's also got a mini Pegasus room. So this is the main bedroom, the darkest room in the house. I don't often use dark colours unless it's in the bedroom, because I really love that idea of being cocooned when you're asleep. You don't have to have as much natural light. But I've made it slightly brighter by colour matching the green in my wallpaper, and I've colour drenched the woodwork, the bespoke cupboards we have made. So with the curtains, we had them bespokely made, and I've gone again with the green to match the wallpaper, and then gone really fun with a ruffled trim to bring it all together. When I saw this bed from Soho Home, I absolutely had to get it. I just love how luxurious it is, and it's just the centerpiece of the bedroom. And I didn't really want any furniture to take away from the bed. As in every room, we've got these amazing original fireplaces, and when we moved in, the room was carpeted, and we ripped up the carpet and we found all these tiles. We're not quite a fan of them, and they will be replaced. And I'm thinking I might paint some tiles myself. Keeping with the botanical theme, I have these amazing prints that we've had since I met my husband by Maria Miriam, who was a botanical illustrator and scientist 150 years before Darwin. And I just love them as a 3, and I think they just work really well in this room. Again, lots of the furniture in here were either done by my dad or I find at auction, because I absolutely have always loved dark furniture from the past, because I feel like it's made better, and I just love its heritage feel, especially in the house of this age. But what I love doing is modernising it by bringing in my colour palettes and my pattern. So my studio is at the bottom of the garden, and I love that slight separation between the house and my place of work. And this is where I make my wallpapers and my fabric. I've been making wallpapers and fabric since I was pregnant with my daughter, and I've been using woodblock techniques since about 2005, when I was lucky enough to go on a residency in Shanghai in China, and I learnt from the masters of print, and I'm completely fell in love with the process then, and I've been using it ever since. And I transferred it into wallpaper actually when I was pregnant. I wanted to design my daughter's nursery, and I couldn't find anything on the market that was really me, and so I thought, well, why didn't I design wallpaper? And then everything fell into place and I started my business. The magic of printmaking, I find, is that you never actually know until you've finished the print what you're going to get, because how the colours interact with each other. So this print didn't quite work out. However, the pair of dogs, this is the original block that worked for these prints. So when we were looking for our house, we actually had to find a place where I could work. And when I found this house, and it had this incredible studio, it was actually a yoga studio, this was a selling point for me. The yoga studio was quite a garish yellow when we moved in, so I wanted to paint it pink, a colour that's actually is my brand colour. I just love the warming but also neutral tone. These are radiators, and they're infrared radiators, and I painted them also to blend in, but they also keep it super toasty in the winter. All around the house and the studio I have inspiration, and in here I love to spend time looking at the art books. I can't go to an exhibition without buying the book. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I've given you some inspiration on how to bring some pattern into your home.